Heyo, and what is up, gang? Thank you so much for joining me here again on the channel tonight. It is Monday, October the 2nd, 2017, and what does Monday mean? Monday means the WWE has given us another edition of Monday Night Raw to review, and we are going to do it right here and right now on the newest, fastest rising podcast in all of the YouTube wrestling community, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. So let's do it.
Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
Alright, wrestling fans, thank you so much for joining me here again today. My name is Nick Nightmare. Along with me, as always, is the World Heavyweight Champion of Microphones, Blue, the Snowball Microphone, and we are going to talk with you tonight about Monday Night Raw, which emanated from Denver, Colorado. And I don't know if being so high in the mountains of Denver has affected everybody's brain in the WWE, because their craziness has been very consistent as of late. So I don't know if we could really attribute the high altitude to how weird tonight's Monday Night Raw actually was. And before we really get into the meat and potatoes of the show, I have a couple of very, very big issues with what went down tonight. And the first of those issues is going to be the main event, because I do not understand why for the second week in a row you have decided to feature a title that you have cared zero, you have given zero shits about the Cruiserweight title, the Cruiserweight division, and the competitors in the whole entire Cruiserweight division. And now, because you have the title on this mouthpiece guy, you've decided to give it the main event. And it's not even wrestling. It's for Enzo to talk trash, because that's the only value you see in Enzo. But why does the Cruiserweight division have to suffer for this? You're making all of them stand outside the ring looking like fools. Oh, you can't touch me and this and that. You had this whole big shebang tonight, right? He was on fire. Enzo Amore just cut every single person down, right down to their knees. There was no way any of them could even get back up. Every one of them, he laid them to waste verbally, which is what he does, which is great. But was that main event? Was that main event worthy? You might argue maybe it was, because he's one of the best on the mic. Maybe it was the most funniest thing that you saw all night. It was the most entertaining thing, right? You enjoyed every minute of it, right? But that's not even what the segment was really about, was it? This segment was about having Kurt Angle come out and debut the fact that he signed Kalisto. He signed Kalisto to the Cruiserweight division. The Cruiserweight division is saved. Oh my God, you guys. Are you so fucking excited for the Cruiserweight division too? Really? That is what your main event of Monday Night Raw was all about tonight. For the second week in a row, nothing but talk to end a wrestling show, which should be ending with wrestling matches and some sort of a win or some sort of shenanigans to end and lead you to want to watch next week. But instead we get this. We get the debuting Kalisto to the failing Cruiserweight division, as if this means anything. If you take this very same exact segment and you place it at the beginning of Monday Night Raw tonight, my tone is completely different. I will tell you how great this was for the Cruiserweight division, how maybe it's going to put it in a new light. Not that he's really going to change things, Kalisto or Enzo. They're not going to move the needle one way or the other. It's not going to change anything, but it may bring a freshness to it. But by doing it on Monday Night Raw at the near 11 o'clock hour, the main event spot, and everybody else is taking a back seat to this guy, Enzo, that has been doing nothing but getting himself in hot water. He's talking shit about Corey Graves, and every single week he's made to look like a buffoon. That's what's important to be featured in the main event? To have Kalisto come out and Selena Del Sol him in such an easy and quick manner and just lay him out? Sure, he was great. Enzo was great on the mic. Probably the best promo I've ever seen him cut in my life. Not worthy of the main event. Put it literally anywhere else, and I think we all would feel a little bit differently about that. My other problem is, I don't understand how the WWE wants me to believe that with the way that they have been positioning Roman Reigns over the last 4 years, he's been coronated at WrestleMania 3 times, right? He's been beating every single big name that there is to beat. Triple H tried to put him over. Brock Lesnar tried to put him over. The Undertaker's tried to put him over. John Cena's tried to put him over. He's done it all. He's the new Superman, right? Well, then why the hell does he need anybody's help to take out the likes of a crew like of The Miz and The Miztourage? Not that The Miz is not a main event guy. Sheamus and Cesaro, these are all main event level talent. But this is your number one guy. Why would he need to enlist help to take out people who are nowhere near the level of a John Cena or an Undertaker or a Triple H? You can't put them on equal ground. Even if you team them together, they shouldn't be a formidable enough team to equal the likes of the great and mighty John Cena, who Roman Reigns beat. So why should he need help? It's forced. It feels like garbage. It's leaving a very bad taste in my mouth, because at the end of the day, the Reformation of the Shield is being done to sell a pay-per-view that has no main event. It has no title to be defended. And you can say that even more with more certainty, because the planned main event, this triple threat 3-man tag team, whatever they're going to call it, is not for the Intercontinental Championship. So what title is being defended outside of the women's title? The Raw Tag Team Championships? Are we going to get that again? We're going to have Sheamus and Cesaro versus... No, that's not happening either, because the Raw Tag Team Champions are in that main event. This 3-way triple 3-man tag. So what's the value in watching TLC? They needed to bring back the Shield sooner than they should have. The Shield, not that they were my favorite thing in the world, but they are probably the best faction the WWE has come up with after the Attitude Era. And I feel like it deserves a better opponent, a bigger spotlight, a bigger stage. Not some throwaway B-level bullshit pay-per-view. WrestleMania. You know, you don't want to wait that long? Survivor Series. Perfect time. It's a pay-per-view that is based around team warfare. Writes itself. It really does. But they want to go against the grain. They want to rush everything. We need everything now. We need to do something to combat Brock Lesnar being away with our Universal Championship. What is he doing anyway? What does he need 3 months to go do? 3 or 4 months to go do? That you can't show up on Monday Night Raw at least once a month. One Monday of your month. Just one. What are you doing? Are you making hay bales for Sable? Are you milking your cows out on your little farm? Is it harvest time? You need to pick your pumpkins? What are you doing with the Universal Championship? Are you at least wearing it when you're doing your farming? Where is Brock Lesnar? What is more important than his $6 million contract? I don't understand. And this is what we get. This is what we get instead. We don't get Braun Strowman given the title so that Brock can go and farm or go train for whatever imaginary UFC match he's going to come up with this time to try to promote and scare Vince McMahon that he might go away. What's on the table? What are the plans? Braun Strowman should have taken the belt from him, and then you would have had him go through everybody. It would have been great. You could have Brock come back and take it another time. Instead, we get this. Shield. Reunion. Great. I don't really care. It's not doing anything for me. And the fact that neither one of their matches, not the Intercontinental Championship match, nor Seth Rollins' match with Braun Strowman were the main event tonight, is a disgrace. Take out the fact that Roman Reigns was in the match. The Intercontinental Championship should be being viewed as your number one championship in the absence of the Universal title. And you're relegating it to the early 8, 9 o'clock hour. That should have been the close of the show. And then you could have had Roman laid out in the ring and had Ambrose and Rollins maybe meet him in the back after he crawls his way up the ramp and then he walks away from them because it's still up in the air. Nobody knows if Roman's going to accept his brother's back. Get out of here. Get out of here. I'm done with it already before it's even begun. And it was actually one of the few things I was hoping that they would do. But the way they're going about it is just absolutely terrible. Why can't they have done what is right in front of them? I mean, everybody's heard the idea of many of the other guys out there, right? And one of the best ideas I've heard, and I can take no credit for this idea myself, was you should have had AJ or Finn turn heel, align with Gallows and Anderson, Bullet Club versus Shield. That was a JD idea. That was absolutely fantastic booking. You could have long-termed that all year long. I'm not even going to go in depth and describe it because I can't do it nowhere near as good as he does. But what kind of a great idea is that? Even so, it's Halloween time. You could have had Bray Wyatt, maybe try to take him seriously for once. Reform the Wyatt family as well. Have them lay waste to everybody on Raw over the next couple of weeks leading up into Survivor Series, where you could have had the new and even deadlier and more powerful than ever Wyatt family take on the Shield. Something that would have been necessary because nobody can stop them. So let's get the Shield to stop either the Club or the Wyatts or anybody but the Miztourage. Literally. I don't understand it. It makes no sense. That's enough of my ranting about my problems for tonight with this show. Let's get into the show itself. Let's pull up the notebook, and we got the little touch screen going, so we have all our information ready to go for you guys. And, like I said, Rollins versus Strowman kicked this show off tonight, and this was a pretty decent match. Seth Rollins tried to use his speed and agility to conquer the Monster Among Men, but it would be to no avail, as Braun Strowman would very easily dispatch the Architect in the end. 1, 2, 3. The story here, again, not so much the match with Braun Strowman, as he was a non-issue after the match, as Ambrose and then Rollins and then Cesaro and Sheamus all came out and started doing their thing, and it was just a big overbooked mess by the end. But the match quality was okay up until they decided to, have everybody come out in the end and make a big deal. Because Braun Strowman was going to come back in the ring, beat up Seth Rollins. Dean Ambrose comes out, and then he beats up Dean Ambrose, leaves the two of them laid out in the ring, and then you got the Bar come out, picking the pieces up and throwing around two already beaten up men. Just a little too much. Mickie James would be walking around in the back, and she would be confronted by Alicia Fox and Emma. Now, I could totally and completely live without Alicia Fox, and we will get into that a little bit more later on in this review. And Emma informed Mickie James, as they were laughing at her as she walked by, that, somebody left some gifts for you in your locker room there. She's like, gifts? What the hell? She goes and looks, opens her door. She sees a box of Depends diapers for old men and women on her table. She's got a walker sitting there. And then there was a bag of some other shit. I wasn't sure what was in the bag. They didn't really get too close. And something else was in the back. I'm not sure what it was. Maybe it was a portable toilet. I don't know. The bottom line being, Mickie James is older than these girls. So let's poke fun of the fact that she's older than them. That's fantastic. Let's do that. A company that is all about let's not bully people. Let's still make people bully people on TV. And then just hide behind the fact, well, it's TV. And it's up to the parents to, raise their kids. Which is, fair enough. But don't say one thing about yourself and then do it constantly. And not even just on the TV show. You do it backstage all the time, as reports always show. Nevertheless, Mickie James gets pissed about this. She goes back to Emma and Alicia. They tell her Alexa's over there in her locker room. She goes to confront Alexa Bliss, knocks on the door, and gets Nia Jax. Alexa Bliss would come peeking out behind the mammoth Wonder Woman Nia Jax and be like, you know what, I don't want to fight you because I don't want to fight old people and I don't want to hurt you. I don't deal with mature women. But Nia don't mind. Nia'll take care of it. Nia Jax like, that's right, I don't give a shit. I'll take care of it. So the match was made for later on. And we were going to have Mickie James versus Nia Jax. Great. I looked forward to it. I like Mickie James. She's really, really good in the ring. If she's given a proper opponent, she was great against Asuka in Toronto when she first came back. It looked like she never missed a step. Like she's been still wrestling the whole time she's been gone, even probably while she was pregnant. That's how good she still is. And she has a lot to offer the women's division. And I thought a match with Nia Jax would be pretty good. I would kind of be wrong about that. We will get to that. Bray Wyatt shows up on the screen and he's rocking around like a crazy person saying, she would never lie to me, 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 she would never lie to me. And then that was it. So, I guess she'd never lie to him. Fantastic. Moving along. Elias, who wants to walk with Elias? I do. I fucking do. Elias is great. And he made himself even more over with me tonight as the tune he chose to strum and tell off the people of Denver with was the song Nutshell by Alice in Chains. One of the most beautiful acoustic songs you will ever see. Probably the most beautifully composed thing Alice in Chains has ever put out that will not totally shred your ears with some kick-ass metal. When you want to be mellow, you can go to Alice in Chains too, and that song is among one of my favorite songs of all time. It really, really is. And the fact that he pulled that melody out and wrote his little ditty for Denver to my favorite song, come on. 2 fine holiday thumbs up for you, bro. Absolutely fantastic, Elias Sampson. Loved it. What I didn't love was the fact that he had a face, Kenneth Worldwide. I don't give a shit about him, nor do any of you, and his giant milk dud head. We don't want to see Titus. Let him go back to catering where he belongs, and everybody else. But he served his purpose here in one way, which was that he lost to Elias. And Elias continues his winning streak that's been going on right now. And I look forward to big things for Elias. I wish I could call him Elias Sampson. It flows off the tongue so much. It's Elias Sampson. I just want to say it all at once. I don't want to just call him Elias. I think Elias is like, as far as a name. I liked it the other way better. So sometimes I'm going to still call him Elias Sampson. Nia Jax versus Mickie James. As I said, this was actually not the best match. Not as much as I thought it was going to be. But it did get some good showcase in for Nia Jax. She did look very good. Mickie James looked pretty good, and it was a competitive match. The whole story here being, of course, that Alexa Bliss would end up getting involved, and there would be a no decision, and Kurt Angle would decide to give Mickie James a title match at the upcoming Raw pay-per-view for the Women's Championship because of her great performance on that night, where she won by disqualification, and the performance was not championship worthy, so it made Kurt look a little stupid there, but nonetheless, Mickie James wins via disqualification. We go back to the back again. We got Silent Enzo. This was my favorite Enzo Amore segment of the year until the end of the night came, as we talked about earlier. But Enzo was asked the question by the lovely Renee Young, and he had no words. He had 0 dimes, if dimes were words. You know what I'm saying? He looked like he was going to cry, but he didn't. And then they cut away. He said absolutely nothing. Useless waste of 3 minutes of TV time. Matt Hardy, which I was looking forward to seeing show up tonight, because with Jeff Hardy being gone, everybody is waiting for him to bust out on his solo career and begin the broken gimmick or the woken gimmick or whatever the hell he's going to call it gimmick, and I can't wait either. But instead, we get him placed in another tag team match, and insert Kurt Angle's adopted son, the adopted Angle's son, Jason Jordan, again. Sporting his nice little new tight green shorts. He's not wearing the singlet. Maybe he heard what everybody's been talking about, telling him he needs to change it up. Maybe he took it to heart. Didn't really look that much better, if I'm being honest. But it is what it is. This match, I hope, is the beginning of the awakening of Matt Hardy. He would end up suffering a loss here with Jason Jordan. Gallows and Anderson hit the Magic Killer for the win. 1, 2, 3. Who cares? Did you really care about this match? I didn't. I really didn't. I kind of tuned out. Roman Reigns versus The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship. Roman Reigns would take out the Miztourage before the match would even begin, laying everybody to waste with chair shots on top of the entrance ramp, taking out Bo Dallas, taking out Curtis Axel. They were taken away by medical personnel, and the match would continue, but we would go to commercial. Twice during an Intercontinental Championship match on Monday Night Raw, featuring the person that you view, WWE, as your top banana, your big dog. You're going to go to commercial twice. So even the little tiny Jimmies and the little Janies and the whoever the hell out there liking Roman Reigns, you know, they're sitting at home with mom and pop, and they can't wait to see their Superman and him do his 2 moves, and they want to see everything, right? You don't get to see that either, because we're going to go to commercial during the only match of the night that had any importance whatsoever. Useless. The end of this match would go as you much would expect. Roman Reigns, kicked out of a skull-crushing finale, would hit The Miz with a Superman punch, which The Miz would kick out of, surprising Roman Reigns, and he made this big surprise O-face like he just busted off, right? And then gets up, sets up to hit The Miz with a spear, and then the Bar would once again come out and make their presence felt, interfering with the big dog before he can lay waste to anybody with a spear. The Miz would not lose the Intercontinental Championship tonight, and the match would end up being thrown out, disqualification, much like the women's match with Nia earlier on, and it made absolutely no sense. This, again, is just a way to do this Shield thing, and, you know, the Miztourage was not strong enough, right? So you got to bring in a secondary team So you bring in the best team, the team that's feuding with his two buddies. Why would you do this? It doesn't make any sense to me for Sheamus and Cesaro to poke the bear and get Roman Reigns involved when he wanted nothing to do with what was happening over there. Absolutely nothing. He said it 2 weeks ago on Raw, or last week on Raw. He's like, listen, they're doing their thing, I'm doing my thing, and never the twain shall meet. Right? That's the way he made it seem. But that's not what's happening here. The writing is on the wall, people, and it is inevitable that the Shield is going to reunite probably next Monday night. We are going to see it. That they're not even going to make us wait till the next pay-per-view. Tonight we had a little inkling of Roman not being sure whether or not he can trust his brothers again. He didn't really accept them welcomely at the end of this night. But I don't care. It doesn't make sense. Sheamus and Cesaro should know that they are in a position to beat Rollins and Ambrose. They have been on top of the equation every time. They've got their number, so to speak. So let's go beat up their friend and get him involved. And when they get all three of them together, they are one of the most unstoppable factions of all time. So let's get them back on the same page so that when we go up against them, we'll lose for sure. It makes no sense, and I didn't care for it. I didn't care for it at all. And I can't wait for it to be over. And it's a goddamn shame because I was looking forward to the Shield reunion, and I thought that if they did it correctly, it could have been something special. And it might even have been a way for them to launch Roman in the right direction. But it doesn't look like that's the case, you guys. And it just makes me sick. Makes me sick to my stomach. Absolutely ridiculous. We have more nonsense with Bray Wyatt tonight. Finn Balor comes out to the ring. He wants to say, you know, Bray Wyatt likes to play mind games. I like to fight. Said, Finn Balor, you lost to the Demon at SummerSlam. You lost to the Man at No Mercy in the man versus man match. So if you got anything left to say, why don't you come out and say it to my face and we can fight about it. You know? Big whoop. Want to fight about it? Bray Wyatt would show up on screen, and this is where things would get even weirder for tonight, as he would start doing his she would never lie to me, she would never lie to me thing, right? And then the most interesting thing he had to say was, Sister Abigail is alive, and she's dying to meet you. And then he would start laughing like a maniac, and his laugh would morph into a female's laugh, and it was absolutely the creepiest thing ever. His face was suddenly hidden by a burlap sack, and you could clearly see a painted, made-up face beneath it. Now, my concerns here are huge. There has been absolutely no reports of the WWE signing anybody that could possibly portray Sister Abigail. Now, with the Mae Young Classic that has just come and gone, it is quite possible that they have found somebody. I don't know who it could be, but she's got to be a good enough actress to pull this off. And maybe they found a little diamond in the rough, and maybe we will get a Sister Abigail. But what I'm thinking, and I don't like to be thinking this, especially with the way it was shot and shown to us tonight, is Bray Wyatt Sister Abigail? Is Bray Wyatt going to be Sister Abigail? I mean, like, in the way that Finn Balor is the Demon, right? You know, he paints up his face and then he's the Demon. So we got the crazy, creepy kids singing again. We got the whole world, blah, 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 right? And then this visage of Bray Wyatt morphs underneath the burlap sack, looking very much like Scarecrow from Batman, and starts laughing like a chick. It made me uncomfortable. It made me feel weird. And I don't know what they're doing with it. I would, believe me, much rather see them have maybe signed Rosemary under the radar and bring her in with everything that's just happened, because she is a psychotic nut job and she would fit the bill perfectly. Even more creepier and cryptically, she tweeted almost to the very minute that promo finished airing that she hears laughter in her head right now. So I don't know if that could happen. That would be much too awesome. I think they would never do that. When I think of something that makes me feel like, wow, that would be friggin' amazing, I know for sure it's never going to happen. So I'm not going to get my hopes too much up to see Rosemary on Monday Night Raw anytime soon. What I am going to expect to see is Bray Wyatt with his face painted up somehow, calling himself Sister Abigail. And I don't know how I feel about that. You guys drop a line in the comments section below. Let me know how you would feel if that's going to be the reveal that we actually get, because that's what I think is coming. We had a women's tag team match for absolutely no reason. We had Emma tagging with a mystery partner, going up against Sasha and Bayley once again. I don't know why. And she said, oh, well, I had partners in the past and blah, blah. Now I have a real partner. Somebody that's really got my back, right? Again, much like they did to us with the Cruiserweight segment, I'm sitting there for a minute, and within those 30 seconds before the music hits, I'm thinking, maybe is it Paige? Maybe is it somebody from the Mae Young Classic? Maybe it's Toni Storm? Maybe it's Piper Niven? Maybe it's what's the big girl's name now? I forget her name. The big German one, the scary one. That would have been great. But we get Alicia Fox. Wah, wah, wah. Nobody, not even Noam Dar wants to see Alicia Fox anymore. It's over. Hang up your boots, honey. It's done. I don't care that this match was semi-decent. It made no sense. We had no turmoil between Sasha and Bayley. And we had Emma walking away from Alicia Fox. Because honestly, I don't blame her. I don't blame her at all for walking away. I would have walked away from her too. But I wouldn't have picked her to begin with, if that's exactly what was going to happen in the first place. It was stupid. I don't understand. And is this what's going to keep happening? She's going to keep bringing in tag team partners and then turning her back on them? Or are we done with this? Is this a one and done angle and now we're going to go and do what with Emma? All she gives a shit about is how she's trending on Twitter, and I could care less. She's starting to nauseate me as a character. Wherever it is they're going with it now, I don't like it. I liked it much better before, when she said a lot less and did a lot more wrestling. But they're so concerned about character and who you are and whatever, and she's doing this social media, I'm the woman's revolution starter thing. I don't care. I don't care. I think she's being mishandled just like every other woman on this division, on this show, on the Blue Show, on every show, except for NXT, where the girls are actually kicking some major, major ass. That was the last wrestling match of the night. Once again, they literally followed almost the same exact formula that they did last week. They front-loaded the show with everything, then they gave us a women's match, and then they gave us the cruiserweights to close the show, but not even wrestle. Not even show us what they can do, how they can do it, how good the cruiserweight division can be. They didn't give them 20 minutes to wrestle. Over the last 2 weeks, the 2 segments with Enzo Amore have gotten maybe 5 times the amount of time an average cruiserweight match has on a Monday Night Raw. And why are things like this happening on Monday Night Raw at all? You stop doing the purple ropes, you stop highlighting the cruiserweight division in any way, and all this should be happening on 205 Live. Not that it's going to gain you any viewers. Who gives a shit about Kalisto? Really? Do you know when I would give a shit about Kalisto? If you put him back with the other useless luchador, Sin Cara, and you have a great tag team for the tag team division in the Lucha Dragons. There's your money. There's how you use Kalisto. Because Kalisto on his own, even in a cruiserweight capacity, is boring to me. I don't give a shit how many new different masks he wants to come out with. You're just another masked guy to me. The only thing that made you special was the fact that you were in the Lucha Dragons. The first luchador tag team we've had in a long time. The package was great. The music was great. He's another one. You changed his music. There was no reason to change the lucha music. You have the crowd participation aspect of it, the way it was structured and the beat. You can't really do it anymore. You don't see everybody jump to their feet doing the lucha. Lucha, lucha. It's not even in the song. It's too quick now. I don't understand this company anymore. And every week, it seems to get worse and worse. That's your Monday Night Raw review, guys. I don't want to talk anymore about Enzo Amore. No matter how great whatever the stuff he said tonight was, it was the worst way they could have ended Monday Night Raw. And the fact that they've done this 2 weeks in a row now makes me really feel that their heads are just completely up their asses. Who cares about the Cruiserweight division? Nobody. You think by putting it in the main event on Raw, you're going to make people care? You think by putting the title around a mouthpiece like Enzo Amore, who doesn't even wrestle, that people are going to care? The only way people are going to care is if you let these guys go out there, you give them 10, 12, 15 minutes, and you let them wrestle the Cruiserweight Classic style. You don't need to be doing WWE style matches if you're trying to differentiate a division that is basing itself off of a whole nother style of wrestling. But we're not going to showcase that style. We're going to do WWE style cruiserweights. How did that work out in the first place for you guys? How's that light heavyweight championship holding up? Huh? Ask Taka Michinoku how he's doing. That's your review tonight, you guys. Thank you guys once again so much for being here tonight. If you liked this video and you loved everything we had to say tonight, make sure you smash that thumbs up for me so that I know that you think I and this show are awesome. Don't forget also while you're down there hitting that thumbs up, if you have not joined with the mass influx of subscribers that we have had over the last 24 hours, of which I want to say thank you so much, do not forget to hit that subscribe button. Make sure you ring the doorbell, the ringity-ding-ding doorbell next to the word subscribe, so that you will be kept up to date, and every single time a video drops, you will be notified at that very second. Also, before you scroll back up from down there, check out Clutch Chairs. The link is in the description. All you got to do is click it. Go check out some of the great WWE merch they have over there. And you've done me a favor. You've supported this show. And that's all I can ask from any of you. Thank you once again. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is Blue the Snowball Microphone, the World Heavyweight Champion of Microphones. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow night for our review of SmackDown Live. And hopefully it's going to be much better than this. But until Jinder is not the champion anymore, I really don't care much about SmackDown Live either. But we will see you then for the review. That is going to do it. And we are out of here. And I will see you next time right here on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Love you guys. Have a great night.